Welcome back to the channel and thank you for tuning in. In today's video, we are doing a complete altcoin analysis. Now, before we get into the altcoin analysis, make sure to check us out on our main YouTube channel, Mega Whale Crypto, where we post daily videos of Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. And if you're interested in more of that kind of content, you can join us on Telegram. That will be the first link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop with cryptocurrency, with Bitcoin, and the relevant economic news. And if you were interested in taking your trading to the next level, you can join us in our VIP group where we post trading setups with exact entry prices, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and so much more. You'll also get access to all of our group chats with over 700 members, our trading chart and education chat, our daily video, help, news, and trade setup chat. So you can find out more information about our VIP in the pinned comment of the free channel by clicking my name, or these two links showing you a video inside the channel and a 50-month trading track record by the first link. Check it out, guys, and let's dive into the altcoin video. Okay guys, let's go ahead and jump into today's video. And in today's video, we are doing a comprehensive Ethereum analysis on both the high time frame and the short term. In just over 24 hours, the market will be having its next weekly candle close. And with Bitcoin at a critical level of resistance of 109,000, the market is still showing signs of exhaustion and difficulties breaking through these weekly highs. And Ethereum is not anymore immune to that, with the 50 EMA on the weekly chart acting as what has been a level of resistance since the beginning of May. Ethereum is still struggling to close a weekly candle above this major level. This will act as a trigger point for a continuation upwards, specifically the price of around $2,550 US. We're going to be discussing what this means, how these short-term charts are developing, and what you need to be watching out for in the video today. Let's go ahead, guys, and jump into it. So first and foremost, the weekly chart for Ethereum is looking pretty decent. Of course, we have had that positive momentum shift on the RSI being pending for quite some time now, but we haven't broken through that level. And you can see how this RSI downtrend is getting very close to breaking out now, and Ethereum is retesting that 50 EMA. So we're having these points of confluence come together where if we were to see a break of that 50 EMA, we would as well see that positive momentum shift, which would very likely trigger that next leg toward the upside. So the market is very close to initiating that next leg, but we are just one level of resistance away, again depicted by that 50 EMA for Ethereum, and for Bitcoin depicted by that $109,000 level. When we're looking at the weekly chart here for Ethereum, we can see we had that macro bearish divergence develop from that $4,000 high, of course, and the downtrend in the RSI. We extend that across to the present date, and we can see the momentum has still been downtrending. So even though we saw a fantastic bounce from these lows at 1,500, we haven't officially flipped into a macro uptrend yet. We've had a nice strong weekly uptrend, nice mean reversion after what was a 50+% correction, but we haven't really fully on the weekly chart shift in favor of the buyers yet. And this is a good thing. It means that there is a lot of upside potential here for this charts, but we need to break through this resistance. So let's talk about what it's going to take to break through, how this chart is developing in the short term, and potential best and worst case scenarios. Let's start on the best case scenario. If Ethereum is able to break through this current level of resistance sitting at the 50 EMA and thus also seeing a positive momentum shift, it is highly likely Ethereum will initiate its next leg toward the upside, which could take Ethereum most likely towards the next level of high time frame liquidity. We're looking at around 3,200 to 3,400, specifically that 3,400 buy side liquidity level. This is a potential major move toward the upside for Ethereum, which, as we can see, percentage wise is just over 30%. So a pretty significant leg toward the upside here is potential if we see that market initiate that breakout, particularly for Bitcoin, for the total cryptocurrency market cap, of course, having to break out of this downtrend, and Ethereum having to sustain the weekly above that $2,550 level. We can also see here on the VRPV, as soon as we start pushing through that $2,550 level, we enter our low historical resistance range, which takes us into that $3,000 level of resistance. Again, a psychological level of resistance, meaning that if we do see the market break through in the weekly, for Bitcoin, if we do see Ethereum clear the 50 EMA on the weekly, it is highly likely the first half of this move toward the upside to around $3,000 will be a very quick, explosive, and violent continuation upwards, followed by a slower climb into 3,400, where then we will potentially see rejections. That is best case scenario for Ethereum. If we are looking at the daily RSI, we can see we have had a slight positive momentum shift. However, we did not sustain with that breakout in the RSI, and we have actually dropped back down as the market rejected from that $110,000 level. We do have some short-term risk factors here, particularly if we're zooming into the 12-hour chart. We can see we have got a diagonal uptrend developing from our lows over here, our most recent higher low at this 2,100 level, and we are coming back to almost retest that trend line in the new week. So this new week is going to play a massive role in determining whether or not we challenge the upper side low historical resistance range, or we potentially dip back into this lower side lower historical resistance range. If you are looking for a new exchange or just want to support the channel, sign up to BitUnix with the link down below. You'll get a lifetime trading fee discount of 15%, which can build up to 45% based on your trading volume, as well as access to a bonus reward center, and of course, all of the exclusive campaigns we run on this exchange. You'll also get access to BitUnix being a non-KYC exchange, meaning you can sign up from anywhere in the globe without regulations. And most importantly, I only promote exchanges I trust and I use. As you can see, I trade on BitUnix very regularly, being the highest VIP level with over $500 million in trading volume for the last 30 days. And lastly, if you were interested in signing up to our other two exchanges, BingX or BitGet, you can also do that via the links down below. You as well will get the 15% trading fee discount and everything else that comes with it. Go ahead and sign up. Thank you for supporting. Let's jump back in. Anytime we have these aggressive sideways consolidations, we generally have a lot of liquidity build up, and we have a lot of volume gaps build up above and below these horizontal ranges, meaning anytime we see price breaks up, price breaking upward and out, or downward and below these horizontal consolidations, we do generally see quite violent reactions in either direction. So no matter which way the market does go here, whether or not we see the break up in continuation or the breakdown, it is likely the reaction is going to be violent and aggressive. If we take a look at that downward move, we have got a massive VRPV gap, which takes us all the way back to the break of structure at $1,800, which isn't quite 30%, but again, it is getting very close, 26% toward the downside. For us to be confident we will see this downward correction, we would need to see yet again a failure on the weekly chart to break through the 50 EMA, a failure to see the positive RSI breakout to indicate the momentum has not shifted in favor of the buyers, and on the short term, we would need to see a combination of a loss of the 200 moving average, which is essentially going to be signifying that the prior lower high over here in the uptrend has been lost and the sellers are in control. And of course, to see that, we need to see this short-term diagonal uptrend broken. So we zoom down to a 4-hour very quickly. We can see this trend in a little bit more detail. The uptrend depicted by this diagonal trend line is just representing the trajectory of the trend. But if we're looking for trigger points, we can see even on the VRPV, as soon as we drop below around 2,370, which is going to be this most recent base of support on the short term, we enter our initial low historical resistance range to 2,200, and that just begins to even diminish below 2,200 into that 1,800 level. You can see here exactly on the VRPV a massive gap in volume, again signified by a surge in volatility in the prior price action, indicating not much historical orders in this region. Therefore, if the price entered this region, we will see a surge in bearish volatility. So the downside risk is definitely still there, and the downside risk is, although not the most likely scenario, it is still a very probable scenario while the total cryptocurrency market cap remains under its respective downtrend and Bitcoin continues to close weekly candles below 110,000. So that is it for Ethereum, guys. The short-term price action is in a short-term uptrend. We are watching that weekly candle close. We are not too concerned about corrections on the higher time frame unless we drop below 2,400. If we lose 2,400, the bias will then be back toward the downside, potentially 2,200, and worst case scenario lower. For the bullish perspective, we need to see the price close above 2,550 on the weekly. That would be a really good sign, as we have not been able to close above the 50 EMA for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks now, which is a crazy amount of time to hang just within a few dollars of that 50 EMA. And again, if we do that, we enter that low historical resistance range toward the upside, which could facilitate the next leg up. So no matter which way we look at it, guys, the market is really loading a large and aggressive and most likely a very volatile move. The big question is that going to flip downward or upward? And to answer that, we need to wait to see how the price develops. Thank you for tuning in, guys. As always, hope you have a fantastic day. We'll catch you on our main channel tomorrow as we discuss the weekly candle close of Bitcoin, the short-term price action, expectations, targets, and much more. We'll see you then. Bye. Have a great day.